As Access Awareness Week comes to a close in a few short days, and with all that is happening, I would like to remind us all that there is a strike that continues and its unintended impact on children with disabilities. Once again, we need to be reminded of the significant impact when disabilities, accessibility, and inclusion are not embedded in the conversations and the decision-making process. This is not an add-on after the fact. Through no fault of their own, we have 600 disabled children in HRM who have lost equal access to our education system. And actually, they haven't lost it. It was taken from them. And this is unacceptable. To quote my esteemed colleague, Kevin Murphy, former Speaker of the House, and Joanne Bernard, CEO and President of Easter Seals, Nova Scotia, if one can't go, no one can go. And I urge us all to use our collective voices to bring an end to the strike, because earning a living wage by those who are taking care of our most vulnerable shouldn't be too much to ask to ensure equal and equitable access. My name is Sherry Costa-Lorenz, and in addition to serving as the chair of the PANS committee, I'm also the executive director for the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities. I'm a short, middle-aged white female, although I'm closer to retirement age, with brown hair that has what I like to call wisdom highlights, with more emphasis on the highlights than the wisdom. I have a long brown braid worn to my left. My eyes are blue, and I'm wearing cream-colored pants, a lace blouse, and a jacket embroidered with multicolored flowers. My pronouns are she and her. Some may also notice a few battle scars. I've worn these since I was almost 2 years old, when my clothing caught fire, and the end result was first, second, and third degree burns over almost 70% of my body. I was in a coma for 2 months. I was in the hospital for 18 months. I was allowed to leave in a body cast on Christmas Day. And then I was sent to the Children's Hospital in Toronto, where they performed the first pedicle graft in North America. I stopped counting how many operations I've had when it was around 287. What was the point? I quite literally grew up in hospitals and spent most of my time there, split between the burn unit and trying to fit into society and to get my education. And for all intents and purposes, I should not be standing in front of you here today, but I am. Each year, we read carefully through all of the applications that we receive. And I share my story with you because each and every one of our scholarship recipients are a reminder as well that life is not linear, and it's messy, and it throws us curveballs when we least expect them. And where we start in life is no indication as to where we will end up and what we'll be doing. And no matter where you are, it will always be in your hands. Your past choices have brought you to this moment. So your track record in getting through tough times is 100%. Absolutely 100%. And you will continue to get through whatever life throws at you. The Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia, better known as PANS, continues to fully embrace the intent and meaning of Rankin's Man in Motion tour, and to raise awareness on issues of accessibility and inclusion. Each year, beginning the last Sunday of May, Access Awareness Week is an opportunity that allows Nova Scotians to promote issues to address accessibility and inclusion to all walks of life. The scholarship presentation is a significant part of Access Awareness Week, with the support of amazing sponsors such as the Smith family, Scotiabank, Casino Nova Scotia, Golf Nova Scotia, and the Lung Association of Nova Scotia, MPEI. Reachability's National Access Awareness Week is on. As a sponsor this year, we're very pleased to have them as well as CIBC. And through them, we can support students with disabilities to pursue and continue their post-secondary education, leading to a career and a greater quality of life. And I think this is a prime time to relinquish the podium and turn the mic over to another voice. So please join me in welcoming MLA for Timberley Prospect, former Cabinet Minister and Premier, the Honorable Iain Rankin.
Thank you very much, Sherry. It's really nice to be here again. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are on Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. My pronouns are he, him, and today I was going to be wearing a suit. It's a little warm outside, but I do have a tie on, a purple and blue tie. I have reddish, brownish, and more and more so the type of highlights, the wisdom highlights that Sherry has referenced, especially since I turned 40 this year. And so certainly getting a little bit older and seeing those. But it's always great to be invited by the group. I spoke at this last year in Dartmouth. Nice to be a little closer to my office, less than a kilometer actually, and Beachville is where my constituency office is. And it's a pleasure to be here during Accessibility Awareness Week. I want to thank first the Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia, including all the wonderful organizations that are part of that alliance, and of course the Nova Scotia League for Equality of Opportunities, NSLEO, that Sherry heads up. And I want to thank the sponsors that actually make this possible, the donations, the scholarships that are funded by good corporate citizens of our province. I was thinking about this today when I first became an ally and advocate for diverse abilities issues in my community as the MLA. And it really goes back to the day I was elected. Some of the schools, the local schools, didn't have really any real meaningful accessibility for our students to even get into the front doors. To get to the second level of our elementary school, and fighting within government. I was a government member to have stair lifts and door openers and things that are just the basics of accessibility being installed. And over the next number of years, helping the parent-teacher organizations ensure that they had the funding required from the province to install the first, to my knowledge, fully inclusive playground just down the road at our BLT junior elementary school that's now in place. During that first term, when I was yet to be in, it was mentioned I was in cabinet and eventually premier, but my first term I was actually a backbencher, so-called, and I met Sherry and a number of advocates at a luncheon downtown at the what was the older convention center during this very week, would have been in 2014 or 15. And I was just at awe of all the work that so many organizations do across this province, the strength of the organizations and the things that they have fought for over a number of years, pushing the province and the city, especially a province and a city as old as ours, to start making changes yesterday. And so I was proud when I ran for an MLA when we ran for that in 2013, and we formed government, we had a very important part of our platform, and that was eventually the passing of Bill 59. That was a highlight for me. It was something that Speaker Kevin Murphy advocated for very strongly, and also Minister Joanne Bernard, who was here, who was Minister of Community Services at the time. That was an exciting time for us, and it was a highlight of being part of that government that passed that legislation. So I know that very much was driven by community, making sure that their voice was heard. And so we have that enshrined in legislation, and it's great to have that plan. But now we need to move forward with the planning and the implementation It's fine to have that in place, but it's really important that we include the voices that were part of developing the actual legislation and making sure that it's implemented with those voices, hence the saying, nothing for us without us. And I think of that saying when I see what's going on right now with the strike that was mentioned by Sherry, and the awful disproportionate impacts that that's having with students with disabilities and the access to education that they don't have. And so rest assured that our caucus supports the workers that provide these vital services to people that need them. And we want to make sure that our voices are heard alongside the workers and the students to hopefully cajole the government to get back to the table as soon as possibly. Because we just don't understand how this could be going on for so long with kids not having the access to the education that they have a right to. That legislation that we passed, I think Nova Scotia should be proud of. I think it's one of the opportunities that we've led in many different ways across the country. And I think that this is something that can be further expanded across our whole country. And I think the only way that that is going to happen is the voice of the youth. And that brings us to the context of what we're here for today, and ensuring that we recognize the accomplishments and the efforts of our young people. No matter what it is in terms of progressive movements across society, they're driven by young people, whether it's the environment, whether it's social justice, fighting for equity, inclusivity. Young people are the people that drive this change. And so all of you receiving these scholarships today have to drive that change. These are the types of things that drove me to serve the public in the way that I do now. I was less than 30 years old when I was proud to win the nomination to run in this area in Timberlea Prospect. And these are the things that continue to drive me to serve the public. I know I am just as proud as you as I was the 12 young people that received their scholarships last year. And I know you will do great things. You have all written about wanting to be working in medical fields, teaching, business, social work, accounting, engineering, the arts, conservation. How critically important these are to our province right now. If I read that list to any of my colleagues that you have expressed in your biographies and your applications, they would say these are exactly the fields that will make our province better. Some of you are going to be involved in sports, I understand, and in music, and are already involved in many volunteer organizations. And I am so proud of the work that you're already doing and the causes that you are beginning to champion at a young age. You already are public servants. And I believe you've already shown the desire to be good citizens. And to being a good citizen, with that involves responsibility to be informed, to speak up, and to be kind, to advocate for the change that you want to see. So in closing, to the recipients, Aaliyah, Drew, Braden, Angelina, Emily, Courtney, Faith, Emma, Xander, Yas, Victoria, and Kira, I am proud of you. And please let me know how you get along in the future with your future endeavors. Do not be afraid to challenge the status quo. Don't be afraid to change your mind from time to time. And certainly don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Great things only happen when people stand up for what is right and what is just. Thank you.
Little bit of height difference there. Thank you for your kind words, Iain. I'm going to signal the kitchen that we're ready to have some lunch, and we'll be back. We have a little bit of adjustment with our timing, but we will continue the presentations, and you will have the opportunity to be able to meet some wonderful students and the future of not just our province, but on a larger scale. But there's no pressure.
Hello, everyone. We are coming back to the presentation today, and I hope that you guys can hear me since I have no concept of what the audio is outside. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed your lunch and your conversations today, even though we had a little bit of delayed lunch and conversations. So yeah, my name is Amanda. I am the Access Awareness Week Coordinator for Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunity. I am a young woman with blonde hair with purple underneath, known as peekaboo hair, wearing a navy jumpsuit with white stripes going down vertically. And I am happy to be emceeing for the rest of the afternoon. So to continue our afternoon, I would like to welcome Honorable Wong, who is the Minister of Advanced Education, and I will invite him to say a few words.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a real pleasure to be here. I do want to acknowledge everybody in the room. I want to acknowledge the students, the award recipients. I certainly want to acknowledge their parents, their family, their friends that are here to support them. Also want to acknowledge my legislative counterpart that's here somewhere, Honorable Iain Rankin, somewhere in the room. I did see him. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here on behalf of the Honorable Becky Druin, Minister, Department of Education, Early Childhood Development. So basically what I'm saying is that I was the second choice. Thank you for that. It's funny, when we got here, I thought I said, I'm going to get around to every table and make sure I get to say hello to the students and the families. And the first table that I was assigned to happened to be with a former coworker and his family. So the conversation over there took a lot longer. So anyway, I apologize if I didn't get around to say hello, but hopefully we'll get a chance afterwards. So I do want to acknowledge that we do have some tragic events going around the province. I certainly need to acknowledge the wildfires that are going on here in the Tantallon area, the fires that are going down on the South Shore and in the Shelburne and the Barrington area. Our thoughts are all with them. And I've said a few times, I said, appreciate the weather, but pray for rain. And we certainly need it as we go forward. So, but this week is about celebrating. This is the 36th Access Awareness Week since it's been going. And it's really neat to meet the students and talk to the students and families, because as a teacher and a principal for 28 years, I had lots of students with various challenges and stuff. And we always look for ways like, how can we support them best? And I started my education career in the early 90s. And our supports weren't that good. Our supports weren't that good 30 years ago. And I certainly want to believe that we've come a long ways. And I certainly believe we have, but I have to share with a little story, because I see Amanda, that I do see Amanda wearing hearing aids. I'm also wearing a hearing aid, but the students with hearing challenges, one of my first years, it was a grade 9 student. His name was Trevor, and it was wearing a hearing device, and I was wearing a microphone. And there were other students that were very challenging in the classroom. So I had to take them out in the hallway and give them a good talking to. And I go back in and everybody's laughing because I forgot to turn the mic off. He was, I bet nobody here with any type of hearing impairment has ever experienced that, correct? Anyway, certainly congratulations to the scholarship recipients. At Advanced Education, we're responsible for post-secondary. So we're universities, Nova Scotia Community College, student assistance, and accessibility services. And it's such an important division that we have, because we're able to support more and more people by understanding the needs of people that need the support, and then providing the financial backing in order to get those accommodations they need, whether or not it's a hearing device, whether or not it's a computer, whether or not it's a chair. So we are always there to try to make sure that everybody can achieve their full potential. And that's the whole idea of the education system, is that how do I achieve, or how does my son, my daughter achieve their full potential? And that's what we're here for. And that's what these awards are all about. So for you that have overcome challenges different than other people of your age, it's absolutely amazing. I read your bios today and I said, oh my goodness, there's 2 people here from Lockview. My son graduated from Lockview last year. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And so it's nice to see that you have certainly overcome. You've worked harder than other students have had to do to get to where you are today. So we also provide partnership grants to community agencies working to ensure that people with any type of disability and need are supported in their efforts to get through their educational career and get the job you want. And that's important because there were jobs previously, not even that long ago, that you may not have had access to because you couldn't get the education because you didn't have the supports. So because of these supports, we see more students last year with disabilities in our post-secondary systems than ever before. So things are happening, things are changing. So as a government, we continue to make progress to our 2030 targets for a more accessible Nova Scotia by providing persons with disabilities with those services and those programs. We'll continue to work on that, and your feedback is essential. So what we hear from you as students going forward, as parents, as your students go through the system, it's important that we have your feedback. So some of the initiatives include building standards, education, public transportation, and communication standards. So in my own community in Waverly, the Chima Aquatic Club, which is, one of the foremost aquatic clubs in Canada, received a provincial grant of $258,000 for accessible docks. So what that means is that people with disabilities or mobility issues or seniors that want to paddle can actually get into these canoes and kayaks and actually participate in a sport or an activity they wouldn't normally do. And I visited the site with the Premier yesterday, and they were actually installing them. And it was just amazing to see the enthusiasm on faces of people that are going to really benefit from that. And if you haven't been in one of those little canoes or kayaks, are only that wide, they're tough to get into. So I would encourage anybody to go out and try. So truly on behalf of the province, on behalf of myself as a person and as a former educator, actually, I'm not a former educator. I will always be an educator. Congratulations to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And please, if you see me hanging around, please come up and say hello to me. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Minister Wong, for that excellent speech. I do know from personal experience when a teacher has a microphone and they walk out in the hall and they keep talking, and I'm the only one that hears it, and everyone's like, "What are they saying?" So, yeah, let's just say that's been many experiences. So now I would like to invite actually one of our past recipients who got a scholarship in 2020, Kathleen, to speak on her experience when she was provided the scholarship. So I would like to invite Kathleen to the stage.
Hello, my name's Kathleen Perrin. I graduated from Lockview High School in 2020. I was a recipient for the scholarship 3 years ago. So effectively, I am the ghost of Christmas past here today. Yeah, so I'm really passionate about accessibility and support for people that are disabled and neurodivergent. I myself consider myself to be highly neurodivergent. I have a lot of different learning disabilities, and learning to go through the school system with them over the years was certainly a challenge. There was times where I was made to feel a bit like a fish that was being judged on my ability to climb a tree. So I very quickly learned how to advocate for myself, and it was a long process of fighting to get what I needed in order to be successful in school and what I needed outside of school. And when I crossed the stage in 2020, it was because of at the time I called them my superhero team, the people that helped me to find my voice and in order to be successful. After I graduated high school, I went to Dalhousie for nursing school, and it was certainly interesting with the pandemic. We were online, we were not online, we had clinicals canceled, so it definitely required a lot of resilience and to know my end destination and where I wanted to be. I also knew that this experience would be very difficult for other students that had disabilities of some sort. Obviously, it's a very unprecedented time, so their needs were often overlooked, and me and my friend used that opportunity to bring back from the dead the coalition of neurodivergent and disabled students in nursing. So throughout my 3 years, we led that group so that other nursing students could join, they could share their experiences, have their voices heard, a bit like an echo chamber. And then we worked with the board of nursing at Dalhousie to try and make some changes to be more inclusive and to make sure that our students are being able to have the same opportunities for success. With that being said, as of next week, I'll be walking across the stage to get my Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And I have accepted a full-time job at the IWK in the neonatal intensive care unit. And that's my dream job. So I'm really excited to be where I'm at. And there was certainly times I didn't think I was going to graduate from high school, nevertheless university. So if there's any advice that I could give to this year's recipients, I would say, first of all, congratulations. This is a big deal. Your hard work, your determination, your resilience, those are skills that cannot be taught in school. They are a result of your life experiences and how you've chose to react to them over time. And that is going to lead you forward and to push you where you want to go. And I have no doubt that you will do incredible things. And I wish you all the best going forward. I know having disabilities or other, differences of some sort, it can feel very isolating. I don't speak for the trees in this scenario, but I know my own experience, it did feel isolating. But you are absolutely not alone. There are people cheering you on in many different places, and I wish you all the best going forward. And yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen, for that wonderful speech, and congratulations on graduating and getting what you describe as your dream job, and the advice that you've learned along the way to provide to recipients today is actually really wonderful. And I also feel the same as someone who graduated last year of like that challenge from high school to university. So yeah, thank you again for your speech. So we are now going to move on to our scholarship presentation, which is, I believe, is like the main event that we are having here today to present the scholarship to the recipients. So in addition to the scholarship recipients today, we also know that we have family and friends and people that have supported each other, as well as community partners and our partners in the PAN community that have come out here to support you guys and learn all that you guys have brought to the table and why that you are being awarded a scholarship today. I also would like to thank amazing sponsors that are able to provide these scholarships in order to help with your post-secondary education. So I would like to thank Bruce Smith for the Smith family. We have Brooke Robinson here today from Scotiabank. We have Lynette McKinnon from Casino Nova Scotia, Halifax. Colette Williams, who is here to represent Reachability and National Accessibility Week in Nova Scotia. And we also have Sherry, which you have met previously today, who is here from NS Leo for the Alice Peel Honorarium. So we are going to start with providing for the Smith Family Scholarship. And so I am not sure if Bruce showed up here today yet. We do not. We have not heard from sponsors, so I'm pretty sure that Sherry is going to present it in his place. But I would like to provide a bio of Bruce Smith and why his commitments to the scholarship is very important. So Bruce Smith was born, raised, and schooled in St. Andrews by the Sea, New Brunswick. Bruce later attended and earned his Bachelor's of Commerce degree at St. Mary's University in 1978. He joined Scotiabank after graduation and enjoyed a 40-year career, 30 years in various aspects of human resources. Bruce volunteers for a number of equity and diversity committees during his career, but his most rewarding one was contributing 8 years to the Canadian Council on Rehabilitation and Work, which is also known as CCRW. So CCRW's mission is to promote and support meaningful and equitable employment of people with disabilities. Included in those 8 years, Bruce was the national chair for his last 3. Retirement came for Bruce in 2018. He still spent a great deal of time volunteering. He also spent 6.5 years on his condo board, which is 5.5 years as president. He also currently sits on board of the Lawn Association of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island and the Nova Scotia Golf Association. When not volunteering, Bruce can also be found on Osprey Golf Course, but he loves to travel with his wife, Sue, of 40 wonderful years. After his retirement, he found the kitchen and loves to cook now that he has the time. Bruce and Sue now has 2 sons, Brian and Drew, a daughter-in-law, Teresa, and his 2 joys of life is his twin granddaughter, Abby and Bria. Hopefully I pronounced the name right. And they call him Grampy and love to make fun for his ray of sunshine on Saturdays. While with Scotiabank, he got involved with the PN Scholarship Program in its first year. In fact, Scotiabank was the only sponsor in its inaugural year. I mean, in its first year, I may have butchered the pronunciation. And after many years of representing Scotiabank in this program, Bruce retired in 2018, but he wanted to stay involved. So Bruce and Stu started the Smith Family Sponsorship in 2019, and this is for the 5th interest scholarship that they have given. So scholarship is presented to Elia Cook. So I will like to invite Elia Cook, as is being presented by Sherry, for the award. Yeah, little bio while I'm up here. Elia is a grade 12 student at Rockview High. Since being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2022, he has been heavily involved in JFDR, fundraising over $35,000 to fund research for a cure and advocating on the provincial and national level. He is also involved with Diabetes Canada and has completed the training to become a camp counselor for children with type 1 diabetes, and will be modeling for the upcoming Pump Couture fashion show to help raise money to send kids to diabetes camp. He is also an athlete and competes in a high level of both rugby and taekwondo, so while managing diabetes and participating in competitive sports takes a lot of time and energy. She's also involved in her school community as the African Nova Scotian student representative and as a member of the DSA and youth action committees. In the fall, she will be starting medical science program at Dalhousie with the goal of finding a career in the healthcare system in Nova Scotia as a doctor or health researcher. Would you like to say a few words? Yeah, congratulations. So now we are moving on to our Scotiabank sponsors. So I would like to invite Brooke Robinson up to the stage, and I will introduce a little bit about Brooke. Brooke is a 19-year social banker and is currently a branch manager of the Colbert and Moby branch. Brooke is passionate about community involvement and takes leadership role in a number of social bank employee resource groups. So the first recipient I would like to invite up for the award is Emily McInnes. So yeah, Emily McInnes is originally from a small town called Sullivan, located in Nova Scotia. She's entering a third year of Bachelor of Commerce degree at St. Mary's University in Halifax, specifically majoring in finance and accounting, hoping to pursue a career. Currently employed at Simplecast in Dartmouth, which, according to you, has been an amazing experience, and it's very lucky to have an employer to understand and help mitigate the challenge of having a disability. Emily was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2019, leaving her hospitalized for a month, and have faced several challenges since, but is surrounded by an amazing support system that keeps her motivated each and every day. And she would also like to give her thanks to the committee and the sponsors. Did you also want to give your thanks as well? All right. Yeah. Next up, we are going to focus on to present the award to Lauren Penalty. Hopefully, Lauren is graduating from Dartmouth High this year, I'm sorry, I had to write this down very quickly on my sheet compared to type. And unfortunately, my handwriting is not the greatest. Okay, I think I now understand it. So Lauren is graduating from Dartmouth High this year, where she is an excellent student taking AP courses. Lauren is also heavily involved in a school and surrounding community with sports such as field hockey, rugby, and wrestling, and is an executive board member at a local youth leadership organization, the NSSSA, and has been a Go Guide for 10 years. Lauren has managed to excel and achieve success in all areas of her life, despite her hearing loss, which she is proud of. Yeah. Next up, Brooke is going to present a scholarship to Yaz. So Yaz is a queer, disabled, and person of color studying environmental sustainability studies at Acadia University with a minor in art. Yaz was born and raised in Dartmouth, and if I could say the Mi'kmaq pronunciation, Nova Scotia, please forgive my awful pronunciation, and is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2016 when Yaz was 13 years old. Despite Yaz's disability and challenges Yaz has encountered through the academic and extracurricular pursuits, Yaz has still managed to overcome several barriers and obstacles. Yaz has been a community-oriented person and has tried to prioritize community care and community engagement as it aligns with Yaz's core values, and has seen the importance of positive impact that can have on both participants. The extracurricular activities include hosting and co-coordinating a community event called Community Art Markets, where provided local artists with the cost-free and accessible space to sell their artwork. Also volunteers with local farmers market every Wednesday to help online orders, and have recently introduced a new feature into the current food cupboard space at Acadia with the new implementation of the Acadia Community Fridge, which aims to provide students with fresh and nutritious food. Yeah. Would you like to say anything?
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take the time to thank Scotiabank and Access Awareness Nova Scotia for this opportunity. I know that this is a really great opportunity for students like myself and everybody else. And without having these kind of events and associations put together, students like myself wouldn't be able to thrive. So Thank you.
Next up, we are presenting the award to Daniel Burns. So Daniel is 17 years old and lives in Fall River, Nova Scotia, and is on the course to graduate from Lockview High School on the principal's list in June. Daniel has significant hearing loss in his left ear ever since he was young. As of 3 years, the hearing loss progressed and has gone fully deaf in the same year. Single-side deafness has been a constant struggle throughout high school, and it's been something that's affected Daniel in and outside of the classroom. Sorry, I lost my place. Daniel always worked extremely hard to overcome the challenges that the disability presents, and will be forever grateful for the family and the people of the life who taught to put the best effort and push Daniel to be the best version of himself despite the extra challenges. Plan to continue to effort throughout university years and be the best student that he can be. Daniel has been accepted to St. Mary's University and will be attending the Bachelor of Commerce program in the fall, hoping to start a business of his own. Yeah, would you like to invite?
I don't have anything prepared, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate it.
Our last recipient for the Social Bank Scholarship is Abdullah, and I am not entirely sure of the pronunciation of the last name, so forgive me on mispronunciation. But feel free to correct me when you get off. But yeah, Abdullah is a BBA student, part of the 2023 graduation class. He was born in Iraq and diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2015, 3 years after immigrating to Canada. Ever since he diagnosed, a passion for biology, nutrition, and healthy living was ignited. Driving force that leads Abdullah to pursue post-secondary studies in the medical field. He has planned to attend Dalhousie University next school year to attain Bachelor of Science. It's Bachelor of Science, there's like a typo, so I wanted to make sure that it was still Bachelor of Science and not Bachelor of Computer Science. So yeah, and ultimately become a family doctor. His elder sisters and parents have been the most influential and inspiring figures for his life and helped shape a person and the values that he stands for. He has used his disability to find love for physical activity and embrace who you are. Yeah, congratulations. Unfortunately, we do not have a representative today from CIBC today attending, so I would hand it over to Sherry to present the CIBC scholarship recipients. And I'm sorry for keep making you stand enough. So first for the CIB scholarship recipient is Brandon Green. Brandon is 17 years old and lives in Valley, Nova Scotia, and was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Very hard word for me to pronounce at the age of 1 year old. However, he did not let this define him. He will be graduating from Corbeek Educational Center in June of this year. He's been accepted into the Business Administration program at NSCC Toronto starting in September. Passion is hockey and was able to enjoy sled hockey for 2 seasons in Toronto. Now is unable to physically play, but still participates in the game in other ways. So for the past 5 years, he's been the music coordinator for Toronto U15 Major Bearcat Hockey Club. And the roles and duties include playing music during the stoppage of play, playing the national anthem, and the start of the game and keeping the fans engaged and entertained. In his spare time, he enjoyed hanging out with friends, watching brother play hockey, playing video games, and swimming at the cottage. This year, he volunteered for Big Brother and Big Sister and is a peer mentor at the school. This entails spending time with a mentee every week at school at lunch, break, sharing interest, hanging out, and talking. And would like to thank CIBC. Would you like to speak? There you go. Next up, we are presenting various let me start that again. There is presenting to Kira Grady. So Kira is a grade 12 French immersion 18 student at Dartmouth High School. She has grown up most of her life in the community of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and she's been accepted to Acadia University and plan to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Geoscience in the fall. She has enjoyed being a continuous learner and is very much looking forward to experiencing university life and immersing herself in campus lifestyle and embracing the exciting new life chapter. She's active in her community and has been a part of numerous sporting teams and has always had a connection in giving back. She plans to pursue community outreach opportunities to help her connect and gain a sense of community in a new home in local Nova Scotia. In 2016, she was diagnosed with ADHD. Although this diagnosis can be difficult to manage, it never stopped her from reaching her full potential. She is a very driven, ambitious teenager who has overcome adversity and is strong for it. We have no doubt that she will continue to succeed whatever she sets out to accomplish. So yeah, thank you for
Okay. I also didn't prepare anything, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here and thank you like CIBC for awarding me the scholarship. It means so much and it just helps reduce the stress of like being able to finance my post-secondary education, which I'm really excited for. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Next up, we will be presenting Casino Nova Scotia. So here today, representing Casino Nova Scotia Halifax is Lynette McKinnon. Lynette works for Casino Nova Scotia Halifax in Human Resources. At the casino, their mantra is proud of our people, our business, and our community. It's been the casino's greatest honor in participating in the scholarship luncheon program and has likewise been proud of each and every student. Year after year, Casino Nova Scotia and Halifax has been all the amazing students who have applied for the scholarship, with so many deserving and outstanding applicants. It's always been difficult to just select one. And that is pleased to come to the stage to honor this year's recipient of Casino Nova Scotia Halifax Scholarship, which is Emma McCarthy. Emma McCarthy is 20 years old and is soon to be a Mount St. Vincent University student. She's graduated student from NSCC with a diploma in child and youth care, and is transferring to Mount St. Vincent University and hopefully we're working on completing a Bachelor of Arts in Child and Youth Studies. Emma has hoped to support youth in need and give them the care that they deserve and have not received. And she'll look forward to get to work in the field of study this summer to put the knowledge into youth and gain more experience. Would you like to? Next up, we are presenting the Reachability, also written as National Accessibility Week, Nova Scotia 2023. Here to present is Colette Williams, which is a little background on Reachability. Reachability was born 20 years ago from a combined vision of Dr. Bruce Mills and Tova Sherman. Bruce has been the president of Reach Canada, a national industry providing legal support and education for and about persons with disabilities. Tova was a trainer in the hospital industry. After years of living away from home, they were both drawn back to Halifax, where they connected in 1999. They both dreamed of building an organization like Reach Canada in Nova Scotia. So much of Reach Canada dealt with work in human rights complaints in the workplace, and Tova and Bruce quickly acknowledged that it's just providing legal services wasn't going to be enough. They wanted to prevent injustices to their clients' experience and not just help resolve them after they occur. The vision of reachability soon expanded to include employment programming and programs to help people develop a self-confidence. Soon after, reachability partnered with government of Nova Scotia to allow the association to become a stronger, more efficient partner to the public and private sector. So today, Colette is presenting the scholarship to Drew Easton. Drew is a grade 12 student at Horton High School, where he is highly involved with extracurricular activities, student council, and volunteering. He's played in one division in community soccer and was the captain this year. He continues to play club soccer with the aspiration to play for Acadia University while studying there. He also played junior varsity basketball and went to provincial finals this year. Although the proudest moments are his academics or athletics, it is his volunteering. And he prioritized his time given back to the school and community with things like Wolfville and area food bank as a delivery driver, school council, school athletics, chair, prom committee representative, and best friend for lunch weekly. Also the co-organizational head of the high school team unified basketball team, which is for individuals with physical and learning disability. While leading Team Unified, he plans games, coach, motivate, and referee weekly school-inclusive basketball games for every student. Throughout school, he's maintained honors with both the parent teachers and understands the importance of learning and deciding teacher as a career path. He's learned a lot about the few years. He is an athlete, accomplished student, a loving son, brother, friend, and involved in making a positive difference in the community. His future excites him as he heads to Acadia University in the fall to take Bachelor's of Kinesiology following a Bachelor's of Education, and recognize the importance of home, friends, family, and personal habits, and has all the building blocks needed to achieve greatness. It's right here.
Hello. Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to all the other recipients, and I'd like to also take the opportunity to say thank you to Colette and Reachability and PANS for this great opportunity. And thank you, everyone.
The last scholarship of this afternoon is the Alice Peeler Art Honorarium Scholarship. And so today presenting the award is Sherry Costa-Owens, which we have hopefully has come up for a few times. Sherry has been involved in the nonprofit sector since the early 90s. In 2014, she was recruited by the National Broadcast Reading Service to launch Voice Print local broadcast in Halifax as the Atlantic Regional Manager for Voice Print. And through the support of a small but mighty team of two, was so successful in building capacity that in less than 5 years, staff would double, a satellite office would open in New Brunswick, and more than 500 volunteers were recruited. Voice Print eventually involved in what we know as Accessible Media Inc., or AMI. In addition to being the executive director of Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunity, she also served on the Community Housing Action Group, the Disability Rights Coalition, the Disability Strategy Partnership Steering Committee, the Accessibility Housing Network, the Accessible Housing Network, the Canadian Accessibility Network, and she continues to be the chair for the Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia, also known as PANS, and the planning committee for the First Voice organization, who has delivered Nova Scotia's Access Awareness Week for 36 years. So I will invite Sherry to say a few words about the Alice Peeler.
Thank you, Amanda. NSLEO, the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, actually created the Alex Pillar Arts Legacy Award in honor of our chairperson, Alex Peeler, who passed away unexpectedly at the age of 27. Alex was passionate about the arts and video and film, and we were looking forwards to being able to build something within the film industry for arts and the disability community here in Nova Scotia. So we really wanted to be able to have something to put his name to and remember that he is still with us and his work will continue. We were very happy to be able to see Victoria's application with her interest in the arts, and are very happy to be able to present a scholarship. Victoria, would you like to come up and would you like to say a few words?
Hi, so I think as it says in my bio, I do have a little bit of social anxiety, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I really would like to take this opportunity to thank NS Leo and PANS and congratulate the other recipients. And really just like, I am very passionate about the arts, so I'm super happy to receive this award and that it's there for students like me with disabilities. So thank you.
So congratulations to all of our scholarship recipients for the amazing accomplishment for receiving these scholarships today. We would also like to acknowledge that we also had 3 Cape Breton scholarship recipients that received their scholarship on Monday. And so they were Courtney McAllister received from Social Bank, Faith Hart received from the Nova Scotia Golf Association and the London Association of Nova Scotia and PEI, and Angelina Toria, I'm pretty sure again, I'm not very good at pronouncing names, received from the Casino Nova Scotia, Sydney. And so we wish you well on your post-secondary educational journey. And we would also like to extend our thanks to the sponsors for their support. So the Smith Family, Social Bank, CIBC, Casino Nova Scotia, Halifax, and Sydney, Reachability, Alex Peel Arts Honorarium, and the Nova Scotia Golf Association and Lawn Association of Nova Scotia and PEI. So you're welcome to do a round of applause for the scholarship recipients. We also like to extend our appreciation to the partners of the Partnership for Access Awareness, which is our Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, CNIB, March of Dying, Hetero Society of North America, the Association of Municipal Administrators of Nova Scotia, the HRM, and the Accessibility Directorate. So now we have come to the end of our presentation, which means if we came in during the registration, you would notice that there is now a door prize that we can now draw our names. So I will have to go get that. So give me a minute. So I have a bunch of people who submitted their names and it's in this bowl. And the door prize has been kindly provided by, the door prize has been kindly provided by the Accessibility Director for that access include everyone, as well as NSBO has also supported this as well. So I'm just gonna put my hand over here and pick something. So the winner that I picked out is Elia Cook. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. This is the end of our scholarship luncheon. I hope that you have a safe travel back. But right now, we are open for photos, and we know that we would love to get photos of the recipients and the sponsors. So yeah, thank you for coming.
Before we break and line up for pictures and such, I would just like to offer a huge, huge thank you for the job that Amanda has done. She has been absolutely incredible. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you.